brand new raid, Root of Nightmares, launches tomorrow, and this is what I'm going to be running. All right, so let's jump straight into it. I want to kind of give some tips and obviously go over all the weapon recommendations I'm running. Pretty much every single build I have, I will have a video on my channel if I don't already at this point, if you all would like to go check those out. But the main thing I first want to go over are mods. So my team is actually going to be running a Void setup because of some artifact mods, specifically with Volatile Flow and Bricks from Beyond. So if you don't know the way these work, Volatile Flow will give you volatile rounds for your Void weapons when you pick up an Orb of Power, and Bricks from Beyond will actually give you a chance to spawn heavy ammo when you kill a powerful combatant with a Void weapon. You can already kind of see how they synergize together, and if your whole team is running Void weapons, that means you're all going to be applying Volatile, and you're all going to have this extra chance to spawn heavy, which is really, really good. Another mod to highly recommend taking is Shatter Orb. So whenever you break a shield that matches your weapon's elemental type, you'll create an Orb of Power. If there are Void shields with this setup, that is going to be extremely strong. But even if there are other shield types, you can always swap out to a different weapon to shoot the shields off to make orbs, because orbs are very, very strong because they give you armor charge. And on top of that, if you are running this setup, you will be proccing Volatile Flow. Those are the three key mods I would almost recommend everyone getting on your entire team if you are playing into Void. Obviously, if you're going into Strand or Solar, take the other Solar and Strand mods. But I think just overall, for the best of the best for a day one experience, this is going to be your go-to. It just buffs your entire team, which is what you're looking for. And speaking of buffing your entire team, a mod I want to give a recommendation to is Prismatic Transfer. Now, this is going to give you a 20% damage increase for 10 seconds when someone pops their super. And if your entire fire team is not matching that subclass for the one that has been popped, you actually get that 20% damage bonus. Now, this does not stack with Well of Radiant, so obviously you can't use Well and get an even higher damage boost. It's still going to take the Well's damage boost because it is a little bit higher. But what's really cool is if you're in any scenario where, say, something like Wells or Bubbles aren't the most optimal thing, kind of like Rook, this will actually make it so when you pop your damage supers, Nova Bomb, Broodweaver, Thunder Crash, Blade Barrage, literally anything, obviously just the one and done high damage supers, this will actually give you 20% damage for your entire team once you come out of that one and done super. Now, if everyone's running this, everyone is bound to get it because everybody will have a non-matching subclass. Unless literally everyone is running the exact same subclass, there's no way that this just won't apply to everyone. Because say if you have one Arc Titan pop it, that means all your other teammates, if they are running Solar, will get it. Then obviously your Solar teammates that are running it will give it to that Arc Titan. So you can kind of use this as an extra damage boost while using DPS or one and done supers, which is really, really cool. And I think this could play a part just depending on how all the bosses work. Now, almost every single other mod doesn't matter as much, but running something like your authorized mods, Solar, Void, and Grenade will be really good. If you're playing to a Grenade build, you definitely want to do this to reduce the cost. But with your authorized mods, Void and Solar, Strain doesn't matter as much because there's really no Strain power weapon that is in the DPS meta, but we do have Void and Solar weapons that are really good. These are going to reduce the cost of your weapon surges. Now, weapon surges is the next thing we need to go over. Always be sure to have these equipped. Now, there are a couple different ways you can go about this. You need to always have 3 of a certain element unless you are doing very specific things. So in this case, I do have 3 Void Singes on, and I'll be going in with a type hand equip that I can obviously swap this out for literally anything. This is just for an example. So that means this type hand will be doing 22% more damage because 3 makes it 22%. That stacks with everything. Wall of Radiance, any other just empowering buff, it is very, very good. Now, obviously, if you're running something like Funnel Web or just any other Void weapon, so you can proc your Volatile, you're also going to get that damage increase for that, which makes it even easier to slay ads out. These are very crucial for a day one experience because getting that extra damage buff is going to matter pretty much everywhere in the entire raid. Even if you have to sacrifice some of your tier 100 stats so you can put on 3 of the mods that cost 3 energy, it is by far necessary to do that compared to just having a little extra stat on whatever you're running, except maybe 100 resilience. That might be the only thing that you can make an argument for, but even then, having that extra damage boost is going to be almost mandatory. But just remember to always swap these out for whatever element your heavy weapon is. Now, there is going to be one exception to this, and that is if you are running Izanagi's Burden and Rocket Swap. If you're running this, you're going to want to run 1 Kinetic Surge, which is going to get that Izanagi's 10% more damage, alongside running 2 of the element of whatever heavy weapon you're running. So for example, Hothead's obviously in the meta. You can run 2 Arc Surge mods with 1 Kinetic Siphon, and that will give you the most damage overall. So instead of just having 22% damage for that Hothead, you'll be getting 10% extra for the Izanagi's and the 17% extra for the hot hit. So it will just add up to be more damage that way. So that is just something to be aware of. I would imagine this also is going to work pretty well with Wither Horde, but Wither Horde is mainly just used for warlocks to proc their Starfire for the most part, and you really only want to have one Wither Horde on your team, since Wither Horde only does one instance of damage unless someone shoots the ground with it, but the one Wither Horde user can also just do that. The only other exception to that is if you are running like 2 or 3 Starfire warlocks, then obviously everyone's going to equip Wither Horde because it just pairs so well with the exotic. But I think that's enough for weapon surges. If you have any more questions, just be sure to just drop a comment and I'll try to answer anything about it. But moving on to our helmet, this is where other mods are very crucial. Always run a Siphon mod. You want to have as many orbs on the battlefield as much as possible. This is going to let your team get your super back. It's going to proc their armor charges, and it will also proc volatile flow if you are playing into the void aspect that we're playing into. Now, the other mods are going to be your heavy ammo finder and heavy ammo scout. What this is going to do, when you get a kill, it will have a chance to drop heavy ammo. Now, with heavy ammo scout, when one of those heavy ammo finder bricks proc, it will also drop for your entire team. So obviously, if you can imagine, if all 6 of your teammates are running this, that just means you're going to have heavy everywhere because everyone's going to have a chance to spawn these heavy ammo finders for your heavy weapons, which then again will also drop for everyone. This will also pair extremely well with Bricks from Beyond because this already inherently drops for you and your entire team. Since you're running void weapons in the first place, you have 2 different sources to drop heavy ammo. And again, if your entire team is running that, it is going to be very strong. You can even take this to the next level and run double special. Say if you want to run something like a trace rifle, Loadout is such a great option for this because this means now when you have double special, you basically just have increased chances to drop heavy alongside the Bricks from Beyond and the mods you're running on your helmet. So that is something to look out for. I think that could be a very strong option, and it's definitely what my entire team is going to be running the moment we step into that new raid. Now, some other honorable mentions, definitely be sure to take, some other mods to generate orbs, firepower, heavy-handed, anything like that. You want to have as many orbs on the battlefield as much as possible, and if you are playing into a melee or grenade build, it's a no-brainer to actually equip one of these just to make orbs. Specifically, I'm running Starfire, so that means I'll have fusion grenades up pretty much all the time, and I'll just be throwing grenades, making orbs everywhere, and my void weapon will also make orbs, which is very good. Now, other things are going to be things like your time dilation, because this will make your armor charge basically last longer. The duration of it would just decay a little slower. So normally when you have one armor charge, you only have 10 seconds. So basically you would have your weapon surge last for 10 seconds, but you can pick up additional orbs and it'll stack up to 3. So with 3 stacks, you'll have 30 seconds of armor charge, but with time dilation, it'll actually go to 15. So obviously 3 stacks at 15 seconds will be a total of 45 seconds of increased damage. Since our only armor charge mods are going to be weapon surges, I would definitely recommend only running armor charge for your weapon surge. I know it is fun to play into other builds with things like grenade kickstart, but you definitely want to have that increased weapon damage and you don't want to accidentally use up your armor charge. So only run armor charge for your weapon surges, and you can increase the time with things like time dilation. Now you can also increase the time with things like charged up because you'll get another armor charge. So if you have timed up and charged up, that's going to be a total of 1 minute of a damage increase. Depending on how long boss phases are, this could be very beneficial, but I don't foresee it being like the go-to thing because on your chest piece, you also have all your resistant mods. Please be sure to always swap these out for whatever encounter you're going into. If they do solar damage and they only do solar damage, put all solars on. Or if it's some splash damage, put custom dampener on. Just be aware of what the damage types are in the room so you can try to survive as long as possible with these damage resist mods. Now, final note for armor, always have a reserve chest piece on standby. When you pop your rally flag down, be sure to swap over to your chest piece to have as many reserves as you can. If you're running a void weapon, put on void, and obviously for whatever element, just slot that in there, because when you pick that rally banner up, you will get more heavy ammo for your power weapon, which is going to be very crucial on a day 1 raid because you want to have as much ammo as possible. But then once you simply pick it up, just swap back over to whatever main chest piece you're running and you're going to be set. Now, also, I highly recommend having your builds ready to go. As you said, you have a solar, void, arc, stasis, and strand build. You don't have to have every single one of these. Obviously, I don't really think I'm going to be running arc in the raid, but if there is a chance where I need to have an arc soul down, you best believe I have arc ready to be equipped and it's good to go. I'm mainly going to be running Starfire, obviously, on the Warlock because it is extremely strong. But whatever build your characters are probably going to have a good chance using, Bonk Hammer, Void Hunter, anything like that, definitely have these set up so you're not just sitting in the raid like trying to figure out what build you're trying to swap to. I would also highly recommend, even though I don't have one set up quite yet, is to make sure you have a Aeon build equipped, because if there ever is a situation where you're not making enough heavy with bricks from beyond and your mods over here, you can just pop Aeons on and make heavy for your entire team. So that would be a good recommendation to have. Okay, so let's get into weapons. I'm gonna probably try to kind of just speed through these a little bit, because this video is already at 17 minutes long, at least from the recording standpoint. But obviously, with the Horde, really good for ad clear, really good for just doing some extra single target damage. And since I am playing a Warlock, it is very, very strong for proc and Starfire Protocol, which will be a pretty crucial DPS situation for me, because I'm mainly going to be running a demo rocket with a Horde. Now, Izanagi's Burden, if you're not a Warlock, Izanagi's Burden rocket swap with an auto-loading rocket is going to be very, very good as well. Again, remember, if you're running Izanagi's, to run that kinetic surge with 2 of the surges that matches your power weapon, so you can get as much damage as possible. Izanagi's Burns also is just good to take out a higher health target from long away. Just overall very good option. Arbalest, still a very, very good weapon. It has a bunch of ammo. It can one-shot pretty much anything in the head. It's also not even that bad if you do need to do some extra DPS if you're running something not like Izanagi's auto-loading. But I have this on there just in case, and if there is anti-barrier, it's just some long-range enemy with a shield I need to take out, Arbalest is going to be your best friend. Now, I do have Osteo because this is a very, very good Ackler weapon, and if I do run my Strand build, this is going to be extremely strong for Ackler as well. Now, I don't know if there is ever going to be a time where I'm going to just choose to run this over Starfire with volatile rounds, because this is just the best build in the game for Warlock, in my opinion. But I do have that equipped just in case, and if I do want to run that. Now, Riptide, I'm mainly running this because of Choke Clip. If there are champions, this is going to be really good for stunning them because of Choke Clip doing Overload and Unstoppable, but also it is just a rapid fire fusion, which is some of the best specials in the game for PvE. And Choke Clip will also just stun large groups of enemies or just a high health target if someone's chasing you down with just 2 shots, which is really, really good. Now, I'm also going to be running Night Watch. This is the one you get from the New Light campaign. I'm pretty sure you can still get this. It has overflow explosive payload. It is very, very good. It is also kinetic, so it does have that increased damage. If I need to just pepper away at enemy at long range, this is going to be your best friend. It is really, really strong. Now, I do also have a submission just if there's like a close range encounter, say something like Val, the 3rd checkpoint, where it's just really fast paced running and gunning. I want to have a submachine gun ready for that, and Overflow Frenzy is just a great option, and it's very, very fun. Now, Outbreak Perfected, I'm really only ever going to run this if my entire team is out of ammo. We're on the last damage phase of a boss, and we need to do as much damage as possible to secure that kill. We'll just all swap over to Outbreak Perfected, because the way this works is when more people are shooting spawnless nanites, the more damage it is going to do. It is definitely not the best primary DPS weapon in the game, but it is by far the safest option DPS weapon in the game. Things like Rat King can also be really good, but again, we don't know how far away the boss fights are going to be. If everyone has Touch of Malice and a Well, that's probably going to be your best bet, but not everyone has Touch of Malice. So Outbreak Perfected is just your safest go-to option for that category, and it's also really good for ad clear too, leading up to an additional boss fight if you do need to just kill ads with it. Now, Funnel Web is a no-brainer. It's a great option for ad clear. Obviously, primary weapons in the game currently aren't the greatest, and they pretty much desperately need a buff. Running double special is going to be a great way to go in pretty much every single scenario, depending on ammo economy, but there's so many different ways you can work around that. But if you just want to take a primary weapon, I'm sure it will do completely fine, especially if you are running Volatile Flow. Funnel Web is going to be your go-to option for that. Now, I also do have a Doom of Health just for a long-range option alongside Under Your Skin. The reason I'm running this is because this is actually what I ran in the Witch Queen Day 1 raid for a long time, mainly because it does have the perk Land Tank. So when you kills this weapon, it will actually give you increased resilience, but that's kind of whatever since I'm already going to be at 100 resilience anyway. But this will give you additional damage resistance from combatants that will stack with your 100 resilience. So it is nice just to get that damage reduction in a scenario where you're going to be taking a lot of damage. Now, other weapons, Merciless, this is going to be really good if I do need to do some extra boss DPS. I think we all know how high DPS Merciless is. So if you're running something, say, like a fill prep rocket instead of an auto-loading rocket, you can kind of just get all the rockets out as fast as possible and then swap over to Merciless when all your ammo is gone. That could be a pretty good option. It's kind of like Izanagi rocket hot swap in a way, but it's probably not going to net you as much damage. But if it is a very long boss fight, just getting all your ammo out and then swapping to Merciless, that could be a pretty good option, and that's why I just have that equipped. Now, for Forbearance, really, really strong for ad clear. You can shoot one of these things and pretty much the entire room dies. I am going to be going in with a blinding grenade launcher as well, is just in case, alongside a Cartesian coordinate, because kind of like Riptide in a way. These things are just kind of the best specials in the game if you do need to just do some single target damage. Left from Gold Vorpal on this, the Gunsmith sold this a while ago at this point, but this is really, really good in a DPS scenario where, I can run something like with a Horde and a demo rocket, and then I can also just put a few shots in with Cartesian to just do some extra damage. Now, Hollow Denial, like I talked about earlier, if you are running double specials so you can spawn that heavy ammo as much as possible, this is going to be really good because it is void. It does have Lit from Gold, which will take advantage of all that heavy as well. Kill and Tally is also very, very good. This will just melt enemies with volatile rounds. It's very, very fun, and I probably will be running this a lot in the raid as well. Now we get to power weapons. This is probably the most tedious part because we don't know exactly what the DPS meta is going to be. But I'm going to be running something like a Taipan, because Taipan with Volatile Flow equipped alongside staying in a well still does very, very good damage. If there's a boss where we need more sustained damage than burst damage, I honest to God still think linear fusion rifles are going to be the go-to play. Cataclysmic is going to be the better overall option, but if you are playing into Void, Taipan is going to be pretty much the king for that. It still does relatively good DPS, and with triple tap and 4 times the charm, you just have so much ammo for it. It is almost a no-brainer to have this on your loadout just in case. Now, I also have a Lament. I have that ready to go. I think we all know how strong Lament is. It's just by far the best sword in the game. So yeah, I just have that ready to go just in case. Now, Sleeper Simulant, I think, can also be a pretty good option, just super consistent. I actually used this to beat Val day 1 as well. We just all ran Sleeper. It's just really easy to use. It's super consistent. I don't think it's going to be as good with Taipan if you are playing into it a lot with your team or Cataclysmic, but if you're just kind of stuck and you need something very consistent, you can slot this on and we get to go. Now, I'm going to be running a Egret sword just to get through jumping puzzles a lot easier. Obviously, we have like Strain Rockets, Strain Lumina, Strain pretty much literally everything in the game. You can just grapple to anything, but this can also just kind of help out with that a little bit, just so we don't spend a lot of time stuck on a jumping puzzle where we could spend that time figuring out encounters. Now, Retrofit Escapade, this might be a little weird scene on here, and that is the reason you saw that I do have the Defiant Armory origin trait unlocked, is because it will have this in my back pocket just in case. It does a little less DPS than a linear fusion rifle, but it is a machine gun, and with these exact perks with 4 times the charm and target lock, throwing a backup mag on there with an extended mag, this thing can actually do very, very, very good sustained DPS. Now, again, it's not going to top the charts. It's not going to do the best damage in the game. But in a day 1 raid, you want to have the safest option that can also just get the job done and have a bunch of ammo. So this is going to be there just in case. It's also a machine gun, so it's really good for just ad clear as well, leading up to a boss fight. I don't know if I'm ever going to use it. It's kind of a copium pick, but with Volatile Flow being active, I think this could be a pretty sleeper option. We'll just have to wait and see. Now, Red Herring, again, this is just a Void Rocket I have equipped. Since I am heavily playing into Void, at least from the start, I can throw this on. It's going to do a pretty good amount of damage. Obviously, I'm going to have my other rockets ready to go as well. And one of those rockets is going to be Bump of the Night. So Demolitionist Choke Clip, this is going to be a main DPS option for me. I probably will be the choke clip person in the group. So this just means I can spam rockets with Wither Horde, Softfire Protocol. I'm going to be igniting enemies. I'm going to be shattering enemies with stasis. It is going to be very, very strong. And obviously, if I am running this, I will swap over to 3 stasis engines so I can just make this do as much damage as possible. Then finally, I do have a commemoration on this character just for some ad clear reconstruction, kill, and tally. It is very, very good for that. And if there ever are scenarios where I just need to kill a bunch of ads, this could be good for that. And since Softfire already has a pretty high DPS option, if there really is a boss where like you have to do heavy DPS while focus on killing a lot of ads, I could just run commemoration and still have Starfire do my damage. But all right, that is this character. We're going to head over to my next character and I will go over some loadout options on there just so I can easily swap them over with Dim. I just have them on all my characters right now. Okay, so these won't take as long because these are just kind of my backup options. Some are strong options just in case, but things like Succession, Heritage, just really good special weapons. Even this new sniper rifle right here with 4 times from fire online could be a pretty good option. I don't think it's going to be the best thing in the game, but I want to have it just in case. Disparity for a long range option. Again, I don't think this is going to be the best thing, but just in case I have it thrown on here. Aegir Scepter, just to get some ad clear, which could be really, really nice. You get a kill, it kind of stunts everything. It's kind of like a better chill clip in a way. I could see myself running this a little bit, so I do want to have it just in case. Things like Bastion, this has intrinsic unstoppable. This could also be a pretty good option, but with the amount of ways we can stun champions down the game, I don't know if I'll need this, but I want to have it on there. Again, just in case. Ignition code with Slashshot Vorpal. There is a time where I need to just use this for some DPS. This is also ready to go. Again, these aren't like the main things I'm going to be taking. It is just there for backup. Now, Azume, just for a long-range sniper rifle, if I need to use this in any scenario. Callus Mini Tool, this is going to be good playing into Solar, but like I said, mainly I'm going to be running Void, but I do want to have this on here just in case. Cloud Strike also kind of a good option as well. I don't know if it's going to be the best option in the game, but if there ever is a time where we're going to run something like Cloud Strike with like an auto-loading grenade launcher, this could be good for that. Null Composure as well. This is going to be nice for some ad clear. And also, if you run high impact reserves, this is a rapid fire frame. So it's also not even that bad for damage. If you are running, obviously Void Singe, these kind of works like Cartesian in a way. Then Achilles SMG for Volt Shot. Again, mainly playing into Void, but just in case. And then also have the Unforgiven if I do want to swap out the Funnel Web for this one. This does give me some little extra grenade energy that I can take advantage of because it does have demo on it. Now, for more power weapons, obviously Yellowhorn. I'm not going to be the main Yellowhorn person if we are running rockets for DPS, but I do have this equipped if I just need to use it for ad clears any other scenario. Obviously, it's still really, really good. Wendigo, Field Prep, Explosive Light. This also does have auto loading on it with Spike Grenade, so this could be a pretty good option as well. I don't know how well GLs are going to be in the raid. They do extremely high DPS, but they just run out of ammo extremely quick. So we'll just have to wait and see, but I do want to have it just in case. Again, that Cataclysmic I was talking about, I do have this ready to go as well, alongside a Hothead with Field Prep Explosive Light. I unfortunately did not get a Hothead with auto-loading, but since I am playing on Warlock, I'm mainly going to be running the Starfire DPS build, so it doesn't matter as much, and I will have some other options for auto-loading as well. But Leviathan's Breath, this is kind of another coping pick. This thing honestly is not that bad. I don't think it's going to be the best thing in the game, but I think it could be a pretty fun option, and I want to have it, on backup just in case. Falling Guillotine, if I do need to use a legendary sword, this is still just by far the best sword in the game for legendary-wise. Crime Mutiny, this does have Demo Vorpal on it, so if I need to just, again, run that Starfire build, shoot with a Horde, swap to Crime Mutiny, just spam a bunch of grenade launcher shots, throw a grenade, get that thing reloaded, it'd be pretty good. Two-Tail Fox, I don't think this is going to be the go-to, but it's still a pretty good option to just do some hefty damage. A strat you might see is like Yellowhorn with 4 legendary rockets and 1 Two-Tailed Fox, but I think they pretty much equal out to the same amount of damage. But I have this on here, just in case. Now, Parasite, if there is like an Atrax encounter where I need to do a bunch of burst DPS, Parasite is going to be your go-to option for that. Great Overture is also another great option, which I have on my other character, which I'll get into in a second. I don't think this is going to be the main thing I'm taking in, but it is something to think about if there, it's any encounter where it's not like a raid boss, or obviously if it is a raid boss, you need to do high burst DPS, but if there's just like, say something like the Vault encounter in Last Wish, just to insta-kill some enemies with knights that are trying to take over the plates, swap to this thing, they'll just instantly die. And now for some final options I'm taking is something like Roar the Bear. This is going to be really good specifically with Warlock because it does have lasting impression with demo. I can spam as many rockets as possible. It could be really, really good for that. Grand Overture, like I was just talking about, for some burst DPS. Anarchy also could be a pretty good option to have. Legend of Acryus, if there's ever an encounter where I need to use this, a shotgun, this is probably going to be your best option, but I highly, highly doubt this will ever get used. I just want to have it just in case. Then Xenophage, I think, is a pretty good option. It's not like the best thing in the game. It's just super consistent. And what's really cool is if there is another encounter where kind of like the Deep Stone Crypt first checkpoint, where doing non-persistent damage to things is just the way to go. Things like Xenophage and Bastion are going to be really good to have on standby. I don't know if there's going to be an encounter like that, but you want to have it just in case. Now, as a final note, as you see, some of these are 1600. I'm going to spend the rest of today getting all my weapons up to 1800. You want to do that because you have to be at least 1780 to basically be at the maximum power cap. So just try to get over 1780, I guess, is the last little tip before tomorrow. But I think that is going to do it for what I've been running. This video has been going on for 35 minutes, so I really hope this helps you all out if you were curious on what my team's running, or what you want to change yourself around with. If you have any other recommendations, be sure to drop them in the comments below. We can all try to help each other out to get the best loadout setup going into the day one raid. And just remember to have fun with this. I know it is a competition for a lot of people, but you also have to have fun along the way. Just enjoy the experience, enjoy the lore behind it, enjoy the scenery, just have a lot of fun with whatever raid team you're going in with. And if you are competing, I hope you can have the best run as you possibly can. But anyway, I think that is going to do it all for me. I hope y'all enjoyed. And if y'all learned anything new, just consider doing all the normal YouTube stuff. It really helps the channel out, and I truly appreciate it. Like I said, good luck to everyone that's going to attempt the day one raid or even the day two raid now at this point. I hope you all can get the emblem, and I hope you all have a great day. Peace.